The second annual Greenville Jewish Film Festival with 3 nights of carefully selected films is coming up on February 20th, and we have Osnat, Caroline, and Helene here to tell us more about what's in store this year. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
The time is here.
Yeah, nice to be back.
Almost.
Unbelievable.
So there's going to be 3 days of awesome films, and we're going to go through all of that. But first of all, let's talk about the success of last year's film festival, celebrating the Greenville Jewish community. You don't have to be Jewish to come here. You get to learn so much about the culture by watching these films and discussions, really broadening that knowledge of Jewish and Jewish film.
Well, what makes this a Jewish film festival is not that it's religious. It's the artists involved are Jewish. So that's the main thing about what makes a Jewish film festival.
And so it really opens it up to everyone.
That's correct. Internationally acclaimed, filmed by Jewish artists.
And you guys had a great turnout last year, so I know that these tickets are going to be
We're
going.
sold out
for
the 3 days, and hopefully this year again.
It's going to happen again this year. So let's talk about what's happening on the 3 days. On February 20th, you have your opening day, and this is with this film. Tell me about this one.
Golda's Balcony. So Golda's Balcony, actually, it's a film of a very successful Broadway show. We're having, as you know, in our festival, we're trying to do more than just showing a film. We're having introduction given by Furman professor, history Furman professor, and we're having talk back with the film producer.
And this show is about a one-woman show, and she plays tons of roles.
Yes. Well, she's Golda Meir.
Yeah.
And it's I was glued to the screen when I watched that movie. It's a 90-minute. It requires a lot of passion, but it's you know, you can look at that movie from a feministic point of view. 40 years ago in Israel, a female prime minister. It's a thing. It's an,
Right.
So it's about history of the Jews. She came from Eastern Europe to the States, to Milwaukee. She's an American Jew. And then she moved to Israel and she became to be a prime minister. And we're having, of course, every event we're having food related to the movie.
And I think that's great, like to tie it all in as well.
And we're not going to tell you what.
We're
you need to come.
And I love the fact that you have a professor at the beginning of it to kind of give it some context for people that may not be familiar with all of that. So the second film
and doors open at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock for Golda's Balcony. On the 22nd, you have Shoelaces, and the doors for that open at 7. Tell me about Shoelaces. As I flip my posters here. New talent here. I'm ready for The Price is Right.
Well, Shoelaces is about a young man in his 30s who's mentally challenged in some way, autistic, whatever. He has some mental illness, and his mother passes away, and the father was not part of his life. And so he seeks out his father because he wants to be with him. And the story develops from there. It's very heart-wrenching story.
So a very emotional story.
Emotional, but there are funny places in it, ups and downs, things that it will touch a lot of people because people have been touched in their lives with young adults like that.
Right, so some relatability for folks.
It is.
And if nothing else, it teaches us compassion when dealing with people that are different from us.
Exactly,
right?
and we do have a speaker for that, a local, the Hope Foundation, Susan Sachs, the president of Hope, the founder.
And they do great work with the Hope Foundation.
So she'll be there to speak.
On Sunday, February 26th.
Before we go to Shoelaces, it's an Israeli movie. So each movie has a kind of, I wouldn't say Jewish, kind of Jewish content and Jewish connection.
Okay.
So in this case, it's Jewish makers.
There you go. On the 23rd, we have Day of Shorts, and that's going to be a day of short films, and the doors for that open at 2 p.m. Tell me about the shorts that we have coming up on that day.
There are 3 sessions of shorts. We open with a little bit shorter feature of an American basketball player in the late 70s who was an NBA hopeful and did not exactly get there, but Maccabi Tel Aviv, which was the big team in Israel, they offered him a position. He becomes an Israeli citizen. He leads them to victory in the European Championship. It's really fantastic. And he's from North Carolina.
Yes.
That's cool. So that gives people a lot of chances to get those short films. I mean, they want to sit for like a full film. They can come in.
Each session is 1 hour, and the second and the third session are 4 films each. And some are in English, some have subtitles. They're very artistic. Some are
Animation.
different types of animation.
So lots of variety. Looks like we're running out of time, but February 20th, they can go to your website. Give us the website one more time.
www.greenvilljewishfilmfestival.com.
There you go. Get your tickets because
yeah,
they will sell out. Thank you, ladies, for coming and telling us about it, and we'll see you on the 20th.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
All right, coming up next on Your Carolina, preserving our old structures here in the upstate. We're going to tell you about the latest update on preserving South Carolina when we come back.